Hey everybody out there, ATBS Navigator Jimmy Nevarez coming to you with a little Factoring 101. No in-depth dive here, just a basic overview, high level of factoring that'll give you a little bit of the details of whether you might want to consider it or not. Some smaller carriers, and I even know some larger carriers, like to improve their cash flow by taking their hard-earned invoices, bill of ladings, the fun paperwork part of what we do as drivers and fleet owners on the road, and converting it into, instead of a 30-day waiting period, which is what your average net 30 is on invoices to get paid from when you deliver the load, takes it and converts it into 2 streams of revenue and gives the bulk amount to the carrier. But for next day funds, usually in most cases, instead of net 30, they take a small percentage and sit on the invoice for you. And this in the average is 1 to 3% volume based within the industry. So, sounds too good to be true? Remember, there are a few details you'll want to consider as well. Is this going to be worth it for you? Well, some of the things to remember are, in doing so, you're going to probably be locked into a 1-year contract with the factoring company, depending on who you go with, okay? That's one thing to remember. Now, in that contract, there's going to be many stipulations. There's going to be term, and there's going to be a cancellation period guarantee in every factoring contract. I know one that I was involved in years ago involved a 1-year automatic renewal, and if you did not let them know 30 days prior to expiration, you are automatically locked in for a whole another year. So with a 30-day cancellation, you're going to want to let them know at the 11-month mark that you want to cancel your contract. You don't do so, they automatically keep the filing on UCC, which is another thing to consider, that they put a UCC filing on your business, and that's their assurance against the business assets that they're going to get paid in the event that default occurs or contract breach. So they're going to keep that automatic renewal on that UCC filing, and it will be extremely hard to get out of that agreement at that point as well, because it is, of course, a written contract. Pay attention to those terms and cancellation periods. The other thing to pay attention to is, must you factor 100% of all your invoices with that factoring company? Some companies offer you to factor X and not Y. Let you pick and choose which ones you want to, but I know the factoring company I was involved with years ago made you factor everything through them, and they had to be approved by that factoring company. That's another thing to consider, is approval, because you want to make sure all factoring companies are going to have you submit the MC of the brokerage you're doing business with, or the customer's credit info to make sure they're credit worthy, to lessen their exposure on that net 30, net 40, net 21, whatever that customer may be. You also want to pay attention to one last thing, chargeback. And that's to charge back or not to charge back. A lot of the factoring companies will make you put an escrow, build up a fund for chargebacks in case something does happen, or there's a freight claim later on the invoice to where they're not going to get paid, they take it from you there. Or you can have non-recourse factoring, which is another kind that limits your exposure on the non-payment to the factoring company, and then of course lessens your chance of chargeback. These are just some simple things to consider when factoring, high-level overview. Hope it helps some of you out there. Don't forget to like, share, and follow, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to keep posted on some of the updates and tips we're going to be providing there as ATBS Navigators. To everybody else out there following along, until next time, be safe out there and keep it rubber side down.